The spell of extreme heat this month has seen the UK record for June broken.
And it's no secret that we're experiencing our hottest temperatures of the year.
And it's millions of Americans under extreme heat warnings. And we can see this life-threatening heat dome.
That is the highest temperature ever recorded for June.
It looks like we've broken another record just last night. Breaking records all the time.
It's officially too hot to think.
Ugh, my water is somehow hotter than the air.
It's so gross, but we have so much freaking work to do.
And I don't want to do any of it.
I don't either.
Wait, didn't Garvee send us a mini split?
They did. You're a freaking genius.
I know.
We're installing air conditioning today. Let's go. Well, friends, this is that project that I am more excited for than just about any project that we have in the new cabin. With record-breaking temperatures kind of all over the world right now, this couldn't have come at a better time. So when Garvee reached out and asked if we wanted to try out their 12,000 BTU mini split, we said, heck yes, send this thing. It would be the perfect addition to our new cabin build. So let's not waste any time. Let's bust this bad boy open and see what we have to do to get it installed. So I'm pretty sure that this top box is going to be the inside unit that gets mounted on your wall. So we'll get this one opened up first and see what all's in here. All right, it gives you a little template. That way there you can make all the marks on your walls and drill all the holes accordingly. I'm assuming a condensation hose. All right, so that was what was in the top box. Condensation hose, got your manual with some batteries for the remote that's here, and then the inside unit. All right, so before I open up the outside unit, I'm gonna take a look through the manual and just see if there's anything else that we're gonna need to get before we get too far into this project. So I just read through the manual, and the only thing I don't have is a vacuum pump to evacuate the system. So unfortunately, the project is gonna have to wait until I do get the vacuum pump in, so I'm gonna have to sweat for a couple more days. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and get the outside unit opened up and see what we gotta do to get it installed. Because I still think we can get it all installed and have it just completely ready. So when the vacuum pump does come in, it'll be as simple as just hooking the gauges and pump to it, evacuating the system, and we will have air conditioning. So let's get the outside unit opened up. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Gee. That's a big unit. All right, all of our lines, you got to be very careful with. All right, guys, so that's simply it. It's just the outside unit. It gives you some vinyl tape to cover up the lines after they go through the walls. And it looks like that's about it in this box. So I'm going to dig up some blocks and see if I can figure out where I want this thing outside. Okay, so this is where I feel the best place for the outside unit will be. This is the far northeast corner of the house. So be protected from our prevailing winds and also the hot afternoon sun. And being the indoor unit is just going to be right here. It's a very short run to the outside unit to where we don't have to have all the excess lines. I just think it'll make it a bit more efficient. So the only thing I need to do out here, I'm going to level out these blocks a little better. I might even sink them a little bit. And then I need to get some concrete anchors, and I will anchor this down to the blocks, and this thing won't go anywhere. But I just want to get an idea of where everything's going to go, so that way there I can start figuring out the lines and everything that I need to get from the store. Okay, so to get the inside unit put up in here, I was planning on just putting the sheetrock up and then doing the bracket and trying to hit the studs with the bracket. But after taking some measurements, the bracket doesn't stretch between two studs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a piece of this 3/4 scrap plywood I have. I just cut it down and put it up between the studs like this. And then the bracket has somewhere very secure to mount to. Oh, it wasn't recording for that, but I just put the bracket up. It has a bubble level right on it, so that way there you can make it nice and level. And that's pretty much it for hanging it on the inside. I still have to drill the holes here for the outlet stuff, but I'm not going to do that right this second. I'm just going to put the unit up on the wall for now just to house it. And then when the vacuum pump comes in, I ordered it already. So when that comes in, then I'll drill the holes. But there's just no point in having holes in the building for no reason. Get this bad boy up there, and we're just going to clean up for the day. Look at that. Oh, I can't wait for it to be working. It's so hot in here. This week's going to be brutal. I think we have a day where it's like 100 degrees. And yeah, the rest of the week is in the mid 90s. So not much reprieve this week. So I'm really hoping that this pump gets here soon so we can get this thing going.
2 days later.
All right, guys, I came to work with Ashley today because it's 8,000 degrees outside and figured I'd come beat the heat a little bit. But the real reason I came, we got our vacuum pump so we can hook up the Minisplit. But the big reason was I came and grabbed a bunch of sheetrock from the hardware store, some insulation, and an IBC tote. So excited to have a bunch of water now, and we won't be filling up every other day. Good morning, friends. It is officially the big day where we are getting our AC hooked up. As you've seen, yesterday I went to work with Ashley to not only get out of the desert for a little bit and just the heat, but we also had the vacuum pump come in, which means we can get this installed. But first things first, as you can see, the walls are still bare. So we also have to get the drywall put up, which we also picked up yesterday. So let's get after it. All right, well, we got all of the insulation put up now and went ahead and made the relief cut for where the lines have to go through from the indoor unit. And now I'm gonna put up some sheetrock. However, I'm gonna do it a way that I don't really recommend doing, and I'm gonna start with this piece in the middle. Only because it is getting hot already. It's very early, it's already getting really, really hot. So this is the most important task today. So this is quite a difficult drywall cut, being I have to make this relief and this relief. So I already did that. Hopefully we made it right. We're gonna see how we did and put up the piece in the middle as opposed to starting from an edge. Well, we somehow managed to cut the drywall in the right shape. The only thing I don't like about my cut is I made this a little bit too big, but that's okay. I'm just gonna get an oversized plate, it'll cover it, no problem. But this cut, I really like. I did it nice and tight, so it's good. Now what we have to do is we just have to put our template up. I'm just going to take a couple of the screws out, put them in the same holes, and then we'll drill our hole where we took the insulation out to get the lines outside. All right, well, now that we got the template up, now we just have to drill the hole for where the lines go out. So after you drill the hole in the sheetrock, they want it angled a little bit. That way there, all the drainage that happens, all the condensation that builds up in your head unit can drain outside. If you have it level, or even worse, angled down to the inside, then you'll have condensation build out and leaking inside. So just make sure after you drill this hole, there is a slight angle to where your lines go out. So the obvious smart way to do this would be to use a hole saw and just drill it, but I don't have the proper size hole saw, so I'm just gonna cut it out with my oscillating tool. But if you have the proper size hole saw, definitely use a hole saw. All right, now we got our perfectly cut hole with the wrong tool. So, so now we have to drill the outside hole. And like I said, we want it slightly angled. So what I'm going to do is just go direct middle and then just drop that middle down by a 1/2 inch or so, and then go outside and cut the same circle. Okay, so this would be dead center. So all I'm going to do is just drop that thing down a 1/2 inch and drill through to the outside. All right, so now that we marked the outside hole, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it with the jigsaw. Don't mind our temporary shower setup out here. Got the hole cut. It's not perfect because it does touch the stud here, but it's more than enough room. I already tested, made sure the plug fit, and it totally fits perfect. So we're gonna go inside and we're going to get the indoor unit's lines put through the wall. All right, before we put the indoor unit up and put the lines through the wall, we have to hook up the electrical connection. So to access that, you just open up the front panel, and then it's behind this door. So before I fish the wires through, I noticed that this little cable clamp is here. So I'm gonna undo that so I can clamp the cable in place after I fish it through the back side of the unit. Now we're just gonna take the end of it and fish it through the back of the unit. All right, it will get clamped in there like that, but first I'm gonna go ahead and hook up all the electrical connections. All right, if you guys are installing this unit, be sure to look at your wiring diagram, because I would have fully wired it up just based on what color was across from it. But that's not the way the wiring diagram shows. So look at your wiring diagram. All right, so we got black, and then what color, baby?
White.
Black, white. Black, white, red, green. I think I fully would have reversed those. Like, why does the ground go through? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would the red go to the black and the black go to the red? All right, friends, as you can see, this was very confusing to me. I am following the wiring diagram on where to wire it, but if you were to just listen to logic with this bus bar here, this is red and it's going to black. This is black and it's going to red. So it's quite a confusing wiring thing here, and I hope it wasn't a typo in the manual here, because we followed it to a T with the indoor unit, and just hope that it's right. So I got into my head quite a bit with that, and so I went and watched a video just to kind of confirm if this was the proper direction. And after watching a video, it definitely confirms that this is right, and this wire actually isn't even red, it's brown. So maybe I'm a little colorblind or something. I thought it was red at first, but this is the right configuration. So I'm going to go ahead and get the clamp put on, and we'll get it through the wall. I'm going to get on this side, you go on the other side. And then fish the things through. It all has to go through. So if you get it together, that's why I was going to tape it all together.
Has to come off?
No. It stays on. You can keep it covered up.
You go out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now that it's all stubbed out outside, now we just have to detach these ports that they put on from the factory. They do a pressure test on it from the factory, and these caps just hold the air. I already cracked them loose, so it did bleed the air already, but just know if you're doing this, once you crack these loose, you're going to hear some air hiss out. And now I'm just working on getting this little ring attached. Not quite sure how you do it. There's not much literature in the manual for it. So they give you this putty, And I think a lot of it is to get shoved inside to kind of block the hole, but I'm also going to put a little bit on the outside to act as a sealant. All right, well, let's get the lines attached. We'll figure out that later. I'm not too sure on this little ring thing. I'm gonna look up a couple things and see how people did it. I might end up running a screw because I don't like how it just so easily comes apart. But once I get the lines and everything on and get everything kind of run down the wall, then I will reassess and see how I want to attach this any better. I know we will eventually order the actual, it's like a plastic cover that covers your lines going down. They do give you this vinyl tape that is UV protectant, which is nice, but it just doesn't look the best. So we'll use this for now, and then in a couple weeks we will order that plastic cover for it all. So the 2 copper lines that they give you, you can't mess them up because the high pressure side has a different size nut than the low pressure side. So just be careful with these. You don't want to kink them or anything like that. I'm just going to get them attached loosely at first. It's so hot. Like afternoon shade will cover this, but all right, guys, we got our outside unit blocks leveled out, and now we just have to hook up all of our lines and the power. It has these 2 access doors that cover this stuff, and then this is where your power obviously goes, and then this is where you hook up your lines. This will be your low pressure side that you service things through, and then this will be your high pressure side. So the smaller line will go to your high pressure. I'm just getting everything hooked up loosely. I'll go back and torque everything after. All right, so we got everything pretty well hooked up. Comes out, comes down, and comes over. And we got her hooked into the outside unit here. I just went through and I torqued all of the things, and now I hooked up all the power. Like I said, just be sure to follow your wiring diagram, and it's pretty self-explanatory. This is my first time doing any of these, and it's really not a difficult procedure. So next step is we are going to go ahead and try and get it vacuumed out. We just purchased that vacuum pump, so I just need to read the literature on that a little bit, just kind of figure out how it works, and then we'll come out here and get it attached and vacuum it out. I got all the wiring all hooked up, and I went ahead and clamped the wires in so nothing could get pulled out now. So I'm going to put that little panel back on just to protect all that. All right, we just went and read a little bit about our little vacuum pump here. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to get the low pressure side here attached to the service port. And then we just have to vacuum it for 15 minutes and make sure it's going to hold its vacuum. All right, so now that she got it hooked up there, we're just going to turn on the pump. Cool. And as you can see, it's already starting to pull vacuum. We're just going to let this thing run for 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll release the gas. Well, the next few clips, we noticed that our microphones died and we have no audio. So I'm just going to explain it to you here. This is after the 15 minutes of the pump running. We come back, we turn off the pump, make sure everything's holding vacuum. We're going to leave it for 20 minutes. You leave it for the 20 minutes just to make sure everything is going to stay there. You don't have any leaks. During those 20 minutes, we went around, taped up the lines, and did a couple other little odds and ends. And when we came back after the 20 minutes, everything was still holding right where it should. So that's when we moved on to the next step. Here I'm going to be removing the service ports for the low and high pressure side. After I do that, I'm going to just crack the high pressure side just to get a little positive pressure in the lines. And after I do that, we're going to check the gauges, leave it there for just a minute just to make sure everything's good. I had Ashley go around with some soapy water and test the fittings just to make sure we didn't have any leaks that were visible. But the vacuum showed we didn't have any, so that's when we decided to just release the rest of it. Here I'm releasing the low pressure side, and you just want to turn it until it stops. And then here I'm going to open up the rest of the high pressure side. Just turn it till it stops. After that, you're going to release your gauges, and when you do this, you got to just commit to it. You're going to have a little bit of a refrigerant come out. As you can see, it kind of burst right there, but just keep going. Don't let it, the quicker the better with it. After you do that, just screw your service caps back on and you're pretty much done. Time to go inside and check to see if this thing's working. All right, guys, let's see if this thing works. I got the remote right here. It's the on-off button. We just have it running on our generator right now, so you might hear that outside, but let's see if this thing works. And on. There we go. Came on. It's set on Celsius right now. The little door is opening. Doesn't feel cold yet, but I am assuming that the heat pump needs to kick on. Let's turn this thing down a little bit. Where does it go down to? All right, 16 Celsius. Oh, it's starting to get cold now. It's already starting to get cold. Oh, it's getting really cold. It's so quiet too. I don't even hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm gonna try to put my microphone close. I literally don't hear anything. We'll go outside and check the heat pump for noise. All right, friends, the heat pump, as you can see, is running, and it is extremely quiet. I know the generator is running, and that's what we're running it off of right now, but you can't hear anything from this unit. Extremely quiet. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap on this week's video. We've had this thing installed for a few days now, and man, what an absolute game changer. The hardest part about the day now is actually just getting outside because it's so nice and cool inside. Even with the lack of insulation and wall covering in the ceiling, this thing still just cools it down in here pretty amazingly. Obviously in the evenings when the sun is just beating on the roof over on that side, it does get a little warm over on that side of the building. But as soon as we get that insulation in, it will definitely take care of that. Speaking of insulation, that will be our next project, is getting all the insulation in the roof. We have, as you can see, put up some more sheetrock, and all of the walls have insulation, and it's made a huge difference. The only walls that haven't gotten insulation yet is the kitchen, and that's just because we're thinking about doing the spray foam insulation. We're hoping to find a deal on that, and if that happens, that's what we're going to do in there. We've just been running this thing on our generator for the time being, but as soon as we get our solar shed back here and we can have it run just on the solar, we will do an update video with showing like the power consumption and just all the technical stuff. Even just see how much it cools it down in here and how fast and all that. So this was a really big week for us in the cabin build, and it's really made this place so much more comfortable. But we still have a lot of projects in the cabin, so if you're not subscribed already, we would really appreciate it if you did that. And while you're at it, if you could hit that like button and leave us a comment, that would help us so much. All right, guys, you guys know the deal. You guys take care of yourselves, and we will catch you on the next one.